Yo, is this working? Hello? Is it good? Hello? Oh, that shit's way too loud, no? Hello, hello? Is it good? Is it good? Is it too bassy? Is it too loud? Oops. Oh, fuck. Let me listen to myself, hang on. Hello? Why is this not recording? Hello, hello? Sounds pretty okay. Is it a bit too loud still? How about now? Is it better? It's good? Alright, cool. I don't know how loud I'm supposed to be, because it looks like it's, yeah, probably a little too loud. Oh well. Yo, folks, yo. Yeah, I haven't been on here in a long time. I was on here last night, but it was very, brief. It was very brief, and I just did literally nothing. Which is hopefully going to change today. What am I looking for? Okay, good. Yeah, I'd like to be on the channel more, but I don't think it's a realistic thing. Not right now, at least. But hopefully, later in the future, you know? Seeing as, I love this channel, but can't be on it too often. I am gonna try and figure out special edition miniatures. I've always wanted to do them. I got a couple. We got a lot of repeats of them. This is another. Not special, not Bugman. Hang on. This is fantasy. Interesting. Ugh. Yeah, most of what I do here is probably just fantasy. Not so much 40k. I've got 40k, but it's not my favorite. It is indeed not my favorite. It's good enough for now. Alright, I just gotta figure out camera angles. I wish this camera would stay in the zoom that I put it into. Because it is a pile of shit. I don't think I can pick up anything. Hang on. Oh, it was just there. It just can't seem to focus anything properly. Is that in focus? I can't tell. See how it goes into focus for 1 split second and then it fucks up? How miserable. Hang on. Focus. Color of the figure. It's the camera. This camera has a really bad time auto-adjusting its focus, so you kind of have to do it yourself. Because it's more of a webcam, it's not like a legitimate camera. It's so frustrating to look at. I'm about to break something. You know what? What if I do this? That's the best it's gonna be. I can't do anything else. Alright, yo. Nah, I paint them. You're supposed to paint them. That's the goal. Once you paint them, they go on a shelf and they look cool. And you could do what you want with them, but that's typically the process. That's it. Or you could play with them if you've got, you know, armies and whatnot and people to play with. This is one. This is one. This is another one. Another one, and then one more. Yeah, I've got a bunch of these older miniatures that kind of need, to be put together. Ideally. Alright, let's see. So what is this supposed to look like? Pretty big fucking nub. The OG one's better? Eh. I kind of like this one more. Subjective, but they're both good. I mean, to be fair, most of this album was just, like, covers and covers. A lot of covers on the album. Piece of shit. The autofocus is kind of fucked up. Hold up, buddy. Fuck this camera, dude. Asian Will, yo, buddy. It's I don't know if it's too annoying to work on, but cleaning them up can get a little tedious for sure. I mean, of course, plastic is just objectively the best in every way. This fucking focus sucks dick. I think it's time to buy a new camera. Even though this is the best web camera they offer. Maybe I should buy a DSLR. Fucking garbage. Hold up, hold up. Is it the lights? Hell no, it ain't the lights. Focus! Focus on anything, piece of shit. Okay, we got it to focus. Now we have to... Done. Just scrape already. Well, it's gonna be a little bit until that. It will be a little bit until then. Metal minis can be satanic. Very satanic in nature. They sent me another vinyl. That's pretty cool. Sorry, now what? What about that tech priest? What am I missing? Yeah, it's been a while. It has been a while. Been a hot minute. Havana? Did you do something? Did you hear something? Oh. Woman. Woman. I'm waiting for the last song. What last song? I'm waiting for new music. Music's pretty dry right now. I've exhausted all of it. Supposed to be some music coming out, though. Soon. New Visa song, Halfling. New Visa song is supposed to be, I think I've listened to it. Unless it came out today or something. I've been listening to some of their stuff again, but I don't keep up with it. I'm not frequent. I'm not frequent with what they're putting out. August 15th. Oh, interesting. I mean, it's cool that they still do music. Visa's a great band. They're really, really good. That is true. There's supposed to be 2 albums. There's going to be one for, like, the actual music and then another for the, show. So that'll be interesting. Let's see how that goes. Two albums is pretty crazy. But then again, they've been on, or rather, he's been on hiatus for, like, forever now. Artists do take kind of a long time to come back, though, sometimes. And it's hard to make a living off being an artist, so, like, the fact that they do come back is kind of crazy. Of course, if you're, like, Metallica or something and you're, like, beyond well-established, you don't got to do anything, but for artists who are, you know, not making a living off their music, it's much different. Much, much different. 40,000 of them. Well, yeah, I mean, everyone said people didn't like the new WARHAMMER album. I thought it was pretty good. I liked it a lot. I think they're both pretty solid. The Mix 6 album and then this other one. These are God Hands, yeah. These are good as fuck. These are really good. I think I was in some sort of, like, anime store one day, and I'm like, you know what? I need metal clippers. Like, a really good pair of them, because I've never invested in good clippers. Like, an actual hobby pair outside of, like, a GW one, which... kind of expensive for what they are. This thing is insane. but very expensive. I'm still on my $2 Amazon Clippers. When's my album coming out? Never, man. That dream is dead. Different lifetime. Nah, this is old fantasy stuff. Although old fantasy stuff is about to be new fantasy stuff. It'll be old new. Yo, Logan, thank you, brother. Yeah, it's been a while. Whenever I'm in Toronto and kind of free, I'd like to at least be on here. I've got some Fire Slayers. You want some? I got more. You want to buy some? I don't need them. Fire Slayers, icky. Nah, it's all good. I think I bought a few kits just to see comparisons and bits. I have no interest in the Fire Slayers. I like the gameplay, but I don't like the minis. Their minis are a little gross. Yeah, I've done painting. No, I've painted recently. This was the only thing I've painted recently. It was one Dwarf Warrior. It was on stream and off stream. Can't really get all of it, but I just don't paint often. I don't know. I did this for, I don't know, what, 6 hours or something? Can't really see all the details, but it came out pretty good for what it was. I just like having variety. Oracle, thank you, bro. Because the thing about painting is, it took me a while to figure out what I actually wanted to do with my painting. Initially, it was armies to play the game, and from playing the game, it would be, you know, finish your units and your heroes and all that shit. But I got bored of that. I kind of got bored of just trying to paint for the sake of playing the game. So now I'm just going to be painting for, like, well, as it should be, for fun, but also a bunch of, like, one-offs, because I'm not going to use any of these in-game. All these are, like, limited edition models. You know, you can use them as proxies for lords or thanes or something, but this is, like, one of the OG Grombrindles. This is Grombrindle in space. This is Grombrindle the Aviator. Like, there's a bunch of weird shit. It's kind of what I want to do. Hey, Mona, thank you. Tedious painting? Like, right now, I don't want to do that, but later on, sure. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, tabletop sim is a good way to, it's a good way to get on with things, you know? Because it takes a long time to build an army, and then at that point, it's like, you gotta learn the game and all this stuff. Tabletop sim's just a really, really good way to, you know, play test things and just experience the game without having to rush your actual hobby, which I'm for. Because I don't want to rush the hobby. That's kind of the fun part. I did read the Grombrindle book. I never finished it, but it was like him kind of appearing throughout the realms and assisting dwarves through various things. Like, he assisted one guy making a brew. Another was like the birth of a Fire Slayer or something. Another was Marathi showing up to fight the Karajan overlords. Shit like that. It was cool. Age of Sigmar still hasn't, like, captivated me like Fantasy has, but it still is a continuation of, like, Warhammer Fantasy, so you have to kind of get on with it, you know? It's cool. In terms of game, Age of Sigmar is my favorite, but lore, it's, like, my least. Or, you know what? Hot take, I don't really like 40k, honestly. I fell out of 40k a long time ago. I prefer Age of Sigmar to 40k. I don't know how that's a thing, but it is. I'm just a fan of fantasy over, like, futuristic stuff. Oops. Yeah, I've played a lot of Tabletop Sim, too. I've put a lot of hours into it. I pretty much no-lifed 9th edition when it first came out for 40k. Played a bit of Age of Sigmar. Tons of stuff. It's not a particularly hot... I think it is... People, what, preferring Age of Sigmar over Warhammer 40k is not a hot take? The new rule set coming out for Goblins. It's gonna hurt? What do you mean? Which Goblins? Like the Old World Goblins? The only thing that's gonna hurt with the Goblins is their models when you look at them, because those things need an update. Those are way too old. Well, I mean, I guess. The only reason I'd prefer Age of Sigmar is A, it's fantasy, and B, it's the continuation of fantasy, right? Like, 40k is a little bit too far-fetched for me. I was never really a fan of, like, weapons that could kind of destroy planets, you know, and that's something they could sneeze out of their ass, right? But there are things in 40k that I do like. Leagues of O10, Orcs, Guard. The universe just doesn't speak to me like fantasy did. And I did play 40k for a long time. It's not that I don't like futuristic either, because I like Star Wars. I like Warhammer. But it's just not, like, number one. I love your content. You are beautiful. Thank you, brother. Very kind of you. I'm a big 40k guy. I mean, I used to be into 40k quite a bit. Well, that's the charm of 40k. It's just extremely over the top. Of course, yeah. But sometimes that's just a little bit too much. Because a lot of things are, you know, some things need to be toned down sometimes. You just gotta piss chill and enjoy the universe and not have to worry about 500 trillion things trying to kill you a second, you know? Or your planet about to be, like, invaded and destroyed within the next 20 hours. Like, that's the charm of the universe, for sure, but a little too crazy. Piss chilling. Yeah, we'll be here for a little bit. We gotta have dinner, but I figured I'd get on and do a little bit more. Yeah, but battles where trillions of both sides die are a bit much. It is, you know, it is, yeah. It's like, yeah, we've got a trillion, gazillion, billion, quadrillion humans, and they all just instantly died, but it's okay because we have 50 quadrillion, billion, million more. Like, that was just nothing to us. It's a fucked up thing, but again, that's the charm of the universe. Krieg. I've played Warhammer 3 on stream multiple times, countless times. I won't do it on this channel, but I play the multiplayer frequently. The multiplayer is indeed good, but very forgotten. It's because CA doesn't want the multiplayer to be at the forefront of their game. So they don't put any money or any effort into making it good. Which is total bullshit. How do you get into Warhammer? Well, step one would be, do you have money? If you're talking about the physical hobby, the only thing you need is money. If you've got money, you can get into the hobby. If not, you kind of need a little bit of money. But if you just want to know, like, the very basics of the universe without having to invest anything, YouTube. YouTube's still probably the best resource for most things. You could do the wiki, the Warhammer wiki. Everything's got a wiki these days, and they kind of tell you a lot about what's going on in each universe and who's this, who's that. But for the hobby, yeah, it's a little expensive. Well, Tabletop Sim's a bit different, though, because you kind of need to know... Like, Tabletop Sim will teach you the game, but I don't think everyone gets into Warhammer specifically for the game. The game kind of, like, is something they eventually get into because they like the hobby. There was a Zen to painting miniatures. Hoping to pick it back up one day. I mean, honestly, if you want to think of doing it, you know, anytime soon, it would be a good time to. I would say this is the golden age of Warhammer coming back. This is like peak Games Workshop, not the company, peak Games Workshop, miniature releases, miniature sculpts. It has so much content and so much accessibility and so many people getting into it. You've got what, again, like I said before, it's 40k, Age of Sigmar, Warhammer Fantasy is coming back. That's a whole nother miniature range. Lord of the Rings, 30k, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, like, so many other mini games. Just so much shit to do. There's so much stuff. A lot of money to be spent, that's for sure. I just made a pre-order today. I bought the damn Votan Kill Team. They got my money. Finally. Like, Warhammer is kind of coming out of the shadows and hitting the mainstream. And I hope they don't kind of bend the knee to, like, a lot of the modern stuff we have going on, you know, like, all this stuff that doesn't need to be added to Warhammer. Like, you know, you could do what you do, but, like, don't change it because it gets mainstream, you know? I think, though, the biggest thing for mainstream Warhammer has to be the Henry Cavill, you know, Amazon series, which he'll do a really good job with, for sure. Well, there's just, there's no reason to change lore that didn't need to be changed because someone's upset. Like, you're not the writer, bro. It's not your universe. You can make up your own stuff, but, like, just because your headcanon is different from what was written doesn't mean it's what it is. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, because they ended up changing a lot with The Witcher, and The Witcher sucks massive dick, right? Like, I heard Season 3 was just an absolute pile of shit. It's just they don't want to keep the source material. You know, they want to make up their own stuff because they think they can do better, or they think more people will watch it because it's like, oh, look at us, we've included everything there needs to be included. But it's like, you weren't doing that and people loved it. You know, you don't got to force certain things to try and appeal to everyone. Like, if it was appealing to people before, people be trying to change up way too much. Shit. I mean, there's nothing wrong with representation or any of that stuff. It's always good to have that, you know? People want to feel like they belong to something. But for certain things, it's like, you don't need to change anything. You're good. Like, Warhammer Fantasy is perfect. Just leave it. Don't fuck with fantasy. Don't make the dwarven women go to war. Please. Keep them inside. Save the women. Kill Team is its own game, basically. Kill Team is like an extension of another game. So, like, say you play 40K. 40K is the big grand scale war game where you can have hundreds of miniatures. Kill Team is basically taking a squad from your hundreds of miniatures and playing with that, with its own rule set. That's what Kill Team is. So those games are a little bit more accessible in general, just because you're not spending thousands of dollars to play a game. And what's cool about the kill teams is you can really personalize them. And it's not that you can't personalize a big army. It just takes a lot more effort, a lot more time, a lot more work. Because you can basically have, like, any idea in your mind, you can put into an army, you can put into a kill team. But, you know, if you've got 8 miniatures to work with, you can go all out. You can kit bash, you can customize, you can change up your 8 miniatures to be absolutely unique. You can come up with your own story. You know, this is a little group of dudes who did this, that. That's why they look this way. And it's a little more intriguing, you know, a little bit of storytelling, if you care about the hobby that way. You can use the models you already have, yes, yeah. Because kill teams are made up of miniatures from the main game. So say you have a Space Marine army, and you wanted to play kill team. Well, you'd take a couple of Space Marines from the kill team, and you would just use them because that's how that works. It's not like you go out and buy all the new miniatures for the kill team. All the minis are the same. Although they do have... They do have kill teams of unique miniatures, or unique, like, parts to them that you can buy. But at the end of the day, most of it's designed to be from the main game. If you could do it right, it could work. Take The Boys, for example. The plot of the series is totally different from the comics. Well, I think it's more of the people who are in charge of the changes care about what they're doing, versus they try to make something up because they maybe think they can do it better. You know, but I guess that could be the case for The Boys. You know, they're like, we could do this better. And if it did come out better, like a lot of people said it did, that's great. But I think they still kind of honored what it was previously, right? In some way. You just got to put it in the hands of people who care about what's going on. That's it. They care about, you know, the history of the game and or the movie, the show, whatever it may be. And they want to honor that if you're going to come out with more content. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they did a good job with The Boys. Everyone loves it. Some things in comics are kind of hard to relate anyways. Or, you know, relay into live action and whatnot. Or cartoon, animation. Yo, buddy, it's good. We're chilling, we're chilling. I mean, I've seen a few weird... Comics are kind of weird, though, sometimes, for sure. People do a bunch of weird shit. No, you're good, dude. You don't have to tell me you're sorry because you're not giving me money, dude. Look, you're good, man. Don't worry about it. You don't have to apologize for not giving me money. You're good. You're okay, man. It's chill. The old Marvel comics did some mind-blowing stuff in a bad way. Well, even the new comics did a bunch of weird shit. I don't like Marvel. Marvel's boring and weird. Like old school Marvel, iconic characters, whatnot, whatever. I understand that. A lot of people come from that place and love it. I don't really... Marvel's fucking... I'm not a fan of Marvel. Although I will say, I recently watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and that movie made me like... Bro, I got sad. I teared up. When I saw that crippled, disabled walrus in a wheelchair, I'm like, bro, I can't watch this movie anymore. And I still did, and it was sad, but like, dude, that was so sad. Marvel movies suck ass. Yeah, they're not too exciting. Guardians is okay. Deadpool's alright. I don't mind those two. Maybe the first Iron Man as well. But I'm not really a superhero type of guy. I like... If I'm going to care about DC or Marvel, it's the grounded, realistic take on villains and heroes, and it's Gotham. I love Bane. Everything Bane has is self-taught. He's a man-made villain. He's not I'm an alien from fucking a different planet, and I can do everything because I'm born that way. Like Batman, same thing. He has a shit ton of money, self-made outside of that. I prefer the grounded, realistic stuff. You know, I do like that sort of weird, you know, fucked up science-y vibe with some of the villains. You know, like, what the hell is Clayface? What's going on with Man-Bat? Shit like that is interesting, but don't give me Superman. Don't like Superman. You know, give me maybe an alien. Superman's an alien, maybe one or two, but, like, I'm not a fan of everyone's a superhero, alien, strong as hell, whatever. Just too much. Spider-Man's good. Spider-Man's okay. The Sam Raimi ones are really good. Well, Bane's cool. Bane, Zangief, Kano, they're all, like, grounded, realistic characters. There's nothing super about them. Kano's just a big super douche, but outside of that, it's realistic to some degree. Mr. Freeze. Yeah, that's true. Batman villains are very interesting, for sure. Gotham is just a fucked up place, too. I don't know if I quite like Gotham or like Batman anymore, but I prefer that to Marvel endlessly. DC over Marvel these days? I made it through the first round of the interview. Oh, nice. Good shit, man. Well, look, if they beat you, make sure no one finds the bodies, okay? Then that way you'll get the job. And then you could sub again. Peacemaker. Yeah, I heard Peacemaker was really good. Well, Marvel is just so big. Isn't Marvel is like so much bigger than DC, is it not? So much bigger. I don't know, man. I didn't grow up with Marvel. Just not my jam, bro. It's just too crazy, too super, too out of proportion. Too much going on. I did watch the latest movie I've seen was that Guardians movie. I saw Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, not for me, too boring. You know, Christopher Nolan, I get it. He loved the movie, loved what he was doing and all that shit, and it was very solid filmmaking, but the movie wasn't enjoyable. But before that, I ended up watching Evil Dead Rise, the latest Evil Dead movie, which has been out for a while, probably a year, I think. That was rough, too. Only use Joker for main villain these days. Well, Scarecrow was one of the main villains in one of the Nolan movies, was he not, the first one? Well, yeah, well, people want super, that's why they keep giving you gods. And all these crazy people who do, like, insane feats where nothing is realistic or believable, and, you know. I don't think it was well, it was a little goofy, but the movie was just bad. Like, it had a little bit of gore, but it felt more of like a Paranormal Activity for like a kid's Evil Dead. That's what it felt like. It felt like a kid's version of the Evil Dead. Faking Bruce Wayne's death. I mean, what do you do with Batman after so long? How do you make Batman even more Batman? That's the question. Like, what do you do with him? Because, again, he can't be super. He can't go to a different planet and, like, fuck shit up with his bare hands. Like, fly there physically. You bring in other Batmans. Batman, well, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Batman Who Laughs, shit like that. Yeah. Bane is not, no, Joker. Joker and Batman are, like, intertwined. They're, like, one and the same. Bane is the muscle jobber that shows up periodically to be a jobber. Red Hood? Meh. And comics do a lot of stuff, though. Especially Batman comics, man. They got a lot of shit going on. And there's a shit ton of them. A lot of them. Oh. Okay. Hey, everyone loves Batman, bro. Not fake Batman. But he is Gotham. Batman is Gotham. How do you move on from Batman being Gotham? You could just say, give us a new one, but, like, Bruce Wayne, everyone knows and loves Bruce Wayne. It's like, who can trump him? What if you just let Joker win? Although Joker, I'm sure, is, like, dead in many different timelines. Moves Batman to the Alfred role. That's interesting, yeah. Joker wins if Batman kills him. Alright, he'll never win. Batman's too much of a pussy sometimes. Exactly why I don't like Batman. Well, Bane just never... True. Yo, Xylon, thanks, man. I mean, the problem is, when you have brains and brawn, it doesn't make for a good character when other people have brains and have brawn. Because it's like, you can't be the best of both worlds, unless it's in that one movie that made Bane kind of, like, ugly and sound like a dumbass, but everyone loved it. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do with that. Random shitty music playing. Can I come here for 1 second? Sure, I'll be right back. Ivana wants me. What are we clipping? Dwarves. Blame Batman and Robin movie for making Bane stupid stereotype. True. Yeah, he was kind of like a pet. All right. Oh. All right, we're back. Discord should be there. Maybe it's below the stream. It might be in the or sorry, not the Discord. It'll be in the description, maybe. Alrighty, where's my blade? Tickle you, buddy. Dwarves. Many dwarves. Cleaning metal is kind of shit. I don't mind clipping it, but like... scraping metal mold lines blows ass. Paint them. Well, not anytime soon. I've got so many things that I want to build that painting them is, like, way out of the question. At least for now. Ideally, that's the goal, eventually, you know? They used to be made in metal, some of them. Typically, if they're not mass-producing something, they make it in metal. If they're doing, like, big units, they'll make them in plastic because they're more likely to be purchased, because you need them to play the game. But any of the character models where there's few of them, or the special edition miniatures that, you know, they don't know how many they're going to sell, so why put them into plastic? It costs too much money. So, producing metal minis is far cheaper. Super, super cheap. Yeah. Anytime you've got something you don't know if it's going to sell, produce it in metal. Or just because of costs, you know? Pokemon League MOBA with Ivana? Fuck no, fuck that game. You can't even be Diglett, dude. What a dead game. If I can't play Diglett, I don't want to play. Oh, yeah. You know what's oddly enough? They're going to bring back Fantasy, but they're bringing back metal minis for Fantasy. I guess it's because they never made the jump to, like, casting it in plastic. You can't really do it with the molds. Metal minis just have so much charm. And I grew up with them. Maybe not so much enjoying them, but I did have a lot of them. I didn't see your stuff. Did you message me yet? Diglett's in the game, but he's a jungle camp. Okay. I have to become an NPC. You did? Okay, I'll check it out after then. I'm not signed in on this PC to Discord. So it'll be probably after the stream. I'll go take a look. I'm currently set on 1,500 Space Marines, 1,500 Orcs, but I currently caught a bit of fascination for AOS Corn Forces. I mean, work on whatever you want, man, honestly. That's the problem with the hobby, is there's so many cool things that you can kind of get into. And it can take away from something you've already done, you know? The best way to avoid it is to just go broke by buying more Warhammer, so you just physically cannot purchase more. Right? Is that a good thing? So that way you won't be indecisive. Sure, yeah. Yeah, it is too expensive to make molds for things like that. And again, Warhammer Fantasy is riding off of, like, Total War being a success. So you got the old, miserable, boomer Warhammer Fantasy players, I'm one of them, coming back to the hobby, or just still in the hobby, to play Fantasy again. Or you have a bunch of gamers that only know it from the video game who are getting back into it, right? It's going to be a kind of hard sell because it's been gone for so long, and the only thing keeping it alive was the game. Be it the game does it justice, it's pretty damn good. But, I'm just glad it's back. I don't even care about the game, I love the universe. Give me the universe, give me the minis. Give me the fucking lore, man. Just give me Warhammer Fantasy back. Tomb Kings, yep. In their full new range. Or existed range, you know, because they're just going to resell you the plastic kits, but, like, that's a big fucking deal, man. I don't know if you've seen eBay prices for Tomb Kings over the years when Fantasy's been dead, but Jesus Christ, a Necrosphinx is like $300. So, from 300 to 80 bucks, it's kind of a good deal. The dirty French Bretonians are coming back. They were expensive as hell. Now they're going to be cheap. They're going to be retail. It is crazy to think that everything is coming back. A whole miniature range that was canned is returning. It's like striking gold again. All these super expensive, out-of-production things are going to be retailed. These are metal, yeah. I spent a lot on Death Guard today. Truly wise words. Yeah, now you can't buy anything else. You're set. The last two Warhammer things I've purchased is I got the Votan Kill Team today because it went on pre-order. And then I think last week I bought the hardcover Gotrek audiobook novel thing. Forgot what it was called. That's it. I don't really buy Warhammer. I like being one-dimensional. That way I save money. How do I get into Warhammer? The hobby is probably YouTube videos, yeah. I mean, if you want to know stuff, you can ask people. You can ask me, like, specifically what it might be. Like, tools or paint, whatever. The resellers, yep. Casket of Souls. You know, I don't blame them for commanding those prices, though, because when you have something that's double out of production, it will command a price like that. It was not only discontinued by Games Workshop, but they were completely, like, they were double discontinued, if that makes sense. You know, like, Warhammer Fantasy died, a lot of it went to Age of Sigmar, but the Tomb Kings stayed dead. They never came back at all. So when you've got something that's been dead for like 10 years, very much dead, you know, if you have a Casket of Souls on eBay going for $200, I'd say that's kind of a justified price. But now that it's back, that shit's worth $50. Unless the sculpt, the new one, is different. Closest Warhammer store's an hour away. Try eBay. Or, well, don't try eBay. If maybe you have, like, local hobby stores. Because not every store needs to be a Games Workshop. Hobby stores have deals with Games Workshop to kind of sell their product at an even cheaper price than GW, so if you've got, like, a generic railroad store or, like, a comic book store, stuff like that, they will sell Warhammer. I think it's a little more than... It might be 5 to 10%. It's pretty good. 15... Yeah, I was gonna say... It's a good deal. You know, the reason I go specifically to Games Workshop to buy Warhammer is because I like the people who work at the one close to me. They're very nice, the manager's a great guy, and I know shopping at their store will help them, and I know they're great people. If they're douchebags, I'm not going to shop there, but, like, you know, if you're into saving a little bit of money, no point. Shop stream one day. Dude, I want to go in, maybe just to relive my childhood. When the old world comes back, I will go in and, like, record me buying all the fantasy stuff. That is just... That's, like, key brain memories that are always on my mind. At least whenever I'm doing Warhammer. Is just going into a GW and buying fantasy stuff. I love it. Because it is a long time coming. I got back into RuneScape recently. That's part of my childhood. And Warhammer Fantasy's coming back. Oh my god. Good memories. Really good memories. Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, it's pretty good too. Local listings. You can get... The thing about Warhammer is you either buy it for retail, you buy it for too much because it's out of production, or you buy it for dirt cheap. There's, like, no in between. It's retail, overpriced, or completely underpriced. Where I live, there are no hobby stores. Shitty. You might be able to find one. Again, like, I don't know where you live. If you tell me your country, you could probably find one. I know in certain places. You live in London. What? England? There's no hobby stores in London. That's odd. The store we import to Brazil are in London. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends where you live in London, though, for sure. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. I mean, I'm... I have no idea, man. I would go on Google, and I would say hobby stores near me. That's what I would type. Hobby stores near me, put your fucking address, whatever. That's what I would do. If you still don't find anything, well, that's just really unlucky, but... Again, like, you can find Warhammer everywhere. No, I'm good. I'm good. Because, yeah, a lot of the stores who supply this stuff, they're smaller businesses. There's a store in Montreal. I was over in, I think it was, like, further up north. I forgot the place. I think it was, Laval, whatever. And, they have a big mall there. And I'm like, man, the only Warhammer store in this place, in this whole Montreal, the only real Warhammer store is downtown Montreal. Very tiny venue, like, no breathing room, there's nothing, but it's the only official store. But again, if you look for collectibles and all these different things, you can find Warhammer. So, at the big mall in Laval, they had this 2-level toy store inside the mall. It had an elevator inside the building, or inside the storefront, and this place was fucking crazy. I think it was called Imagination, some French word, Imaginique or something. And you'd go upstairs, like, you know, they have anime and all this shit on the first floor. They have Lego, and every section has a cashier. It's fucking whack. It's crazy. Upstairs, a quarter of the upstairs is all Warhammer. But, like, you never know that unless you went in, or you looked online. So places will carry it, even if you think they don't. Like a toy store had it. Huge 2-story hobby store. Oh, yeah, those are good. I mean, you pay a lot of money, though. Like, you're going to be in there buying a lot of shit. Texas has a lot of GW stores. Well, Texas has everything. Texas just has a bunch of shit. So, like, if you need something, go to Texas. $300 on D&D books. Jesus. I have no interest in D&D personally, but I can understand spending on books. Maybe not rule books, but books can get very expensive for anything. Very, very expensive. Yeah. Well, if you're like a DM or something, yeah, having all the books and everything. I don't think I've ever been into D&D, but I like the creatures, and I like the idea of creating a campaign. But I never want to roleplay. I will never be a D&D player. That's just not my thing. It's a little too self-inserty, which is the point of role-playing. You know, you take the role of something in the universe, but I think the physical tables are really cool, if you can ever play in person. But, since it's very hard to do that, most people don't. I mean, yeah. It's, if you want to be a part of the universe, role-playing's for you, you know, if you hate being you for a day, or whatever it may be. I mean, they've got roleplay for everything. Warhammer Fantasy roleplay exists. Warhammer 40k roleplay, I'm pretty sure, exists. Well, it's not that you hate being you for a day. I mean, maybe you like that stuff. That's fine. Nah, not really. I just do it for fun. I love characters. I love lore. But, like, I don't envision myself with, you know, oh my god, I've got all the dwarf lords. Like, one day I'm gonna turn into a dwarf and, like, in my next lifetime be with them. That's not a thought. I think it's cool as fuck to create characters and worlds that are very, intricate and have things that can be relatable, but I don't want to be it. Is cosplaying role-playing? It is? No, it's not. Too weird, or people are too over the top? Well, that's why you kind of find your group of people, right? That's what D&D is about, is just finding a bunch of friends to play with. I prefer the war games. You know, I like that characters have so much personality and there's a lot of shit going on in the universe, but if I'm sitting down to play a tabletop game, I'm not here to roleplay. I'm here to, like, have a battle with you. Cosplay is role-playing the character selection. Unless you actually got into character and said a bunch of shit, I guess that makes sense, but wearing the costume doesn't really make you a role player. LARPers. Well, that's like extreme roleplay, no? You know who likes LARPing? Is the Russians. I don't know if you've seen how many Warhammer LARPing groups come out of Russia. Those guys will live and die by Warhammer. And I'm talking like fantasy, 40k. It is big over there, man. I don't know what happened to them, but it hit them differently. Oh, does he really? I didn't know that. It would make sense, though, that Matt Mercer would voice someone in fucking Baldur's Gate. If he didn't, I'd be a little concerned. You talking about Will Ferrell and what's his name? That movie? Well, when you're that popular and that in demand for things, it's good money. And you get to be part of, you know, a new fandom, right? Oh, the LARPing thing with... Yeah, I remember that, actually. That was pretty funny. Yeah. Where they go LARP. Yep. I remember. I don't know. I guess he's never approached them. It would make sense. I mean, imagine having Matt Mercer in, like, Total War voice acting. He could do it, obviously. Could have done something from Sartosa. Give him the Gangplank voice for, like, a captain or something. His pirate voice is kind of just GP. You know, I'm sure he could do a little bit of a different pirate voice, but, like, anytime he's done something pirate-related, it's kind of just Gangplank. Or vice versa, you know, GP was just his generic pirate voice. Voice he does for the Gunpowder Salesman is marginally more coherent, Skaven. I haven't heard that. I don't even know what game that's from. Pirate voiced by me. Dude, it's a cool... I mean, Total War voice acting is really good. I think whoever they got to do a lot of it is, like, spot on fucking amazing. They did really, really good. That's the one thing about Warhammer games in general, is the voice acting is always fucking amazing. I don't think they've bombed the voice acting too much in some games. I think most of it was pretty good. Like, even Dawn of War 3, you know, God bless that game and how fucking horrible it is. Like, at least the voice acting was good. Because that game fucking blew ass. There was no returning to that one once it was done. Just an absolute pile of shit. Dawn of War 3. One of the first games they did was a lovable, crazy gunpowder salesman. Interesting. I mean, yeah, some things that don't necessarily Like, I guess you don't know at the time, but it could sound like something in the future. Like, if you did a voice that just somehow magically sounded like a Skaven, I mean, you're hired, you know? You got it. You got the job. Dawn of War 2 is good. Dawn of War 3 is just fucking shit. Like, you can't defend Dawn of War 3. It's just a pile of dog shit. It is simply terrible. I think it's just worse than terrible. That's a bot. It's a bot. It's not a person. It's a robot. He wants the money. True. You know, dude, the bots are... The people who put these bots out, they're getting fucking creepy, man. I can understand a bot going to a channel and then shamelessly saying a bunch of shit, but, like, the most recent thing I had seen that I'm like, whoa, is this real? Is they take old Twitch accounts that were partnered, and since they have the verified checkmark, they hack them, and then they make them say a bunch of shit that looks like a verified person saying it, which it is, but it's all a scam. It's creepy. I've never seen anything like it until recent. To me, yo, buddy. People are finding ways, man. They want your dosh. They want your credit card info. Weird. I mean, I don't know how the bots work exactly, but, like, people program them for whatever, man. For mischief. And they're everywhere, too. They're on every fucking platform. The internet is a great place to be. What a lovely place the internet is. %70 of every new website is malicious. I don't go to any website, so I'm good. Twitter kind of fits that category, though. What's the new army idea? Just Cities of Sigmar. I don't think it's very new, but with the new book coming out, I kind of have to, like, reimagine my previous army a little bit. But I'm hoping Cities comes out real fucking soon. So I can just buy the book and be done. Buy the book and be done. The new leader lady for the Cities of Sigmar on the massive fucking thing is sick. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. The big, forgot what it is, honestly. Manticore? I think it's a Manticore. I am interested, though. Because I don't really care so much about the minis. I'm more so for the rules. Because I've already got all the dwarf minis I need. I'm just going to turn every human, every elf, every dwarf into some dwarf thing. But I want that new book, man. I got to see things outside of leaks. Once it's in my hands, I can do something. I'm a 40k player. Okay, it's basically guardsmen. They're coming out with, like, the guard update. That's what Cities of Sigmar is. They're the humans. Yeah. Whole regiments of slaves for the dwarven mines. I don't know about slaves for mining. It doesn't sound too good. We'll see, though. I have to buy a couple of bits. Maybe tweak it a little bit here and there. No, like, I'm just gonna use dwarf miniatures. But that would just make them stunted. That wouldn't really make them dwarves. Dwarves kind of have, like, big noses, big beards, big hands, big feet, like, big barrel chests. Like, they're very stocky. You know, if you were to take a human, chop their legs in half, and then kind of put their feet where their ankles would be, or not their ankles, sorry, their knees would be, that would just be a short person. They would need to look the part. Yeah. They need the whole shebang. I mean, yeah. Look at Gragas, dude. Gragas is a big, fat, like, giant man, but he just looks like a dwarf. It's his height that's the problem. He's got a big nose, he's bald, has a big beard, drinks a bunch. Dude's basically a dwarf. He looks like one, just large. Arizona dwarf. Yeah, height doesn't really mean... Well, height is one thing, but it's the features. For sure. ASDF movie? I have no idea what that is. Short-sightedness. That was a good fucking cinematic. Like, holy shit, that was phenomenal. Who would have thought that fantasy died and was only in the pages of books to then be resurrected in video game form to have full-blown, like, animated cutscenes and everything with the Warhammer characters, and they're all speaking, and everyone just sounds fucking great. Sounds exactly as I thought they would sound. It's good. That's beyond a W, what CA did. That is way above and beyond. This guy did not YouTube in 2011. I'm pretty sure I did. I just don't remember that. Because that's 2011. It's 10 years ago. Wait, 12 years ago. It's a long time ago, brother. Sad boy, you buddy. GW re-released the one Space Marine box. Did SKT win yesterday? Oh, man, they fucking crushed them. I watched every second of that game. Oh, my God, they're great. Love SKT, bro. I follow them everywhere. I'm even their paparazzi, bro. I'm taking pictures of everyone. Absolutely, they won. I'm a stalker, dude. Me and Faker, like, he doesn't know I watch him, but I watch him. I didn't see that, though. The GW re-release? I did not see that. I mean, if you're going to re-release anything, it's going to be a Space Marine. That's easy money. That's not even easy money. That's like the freest money in the world. Like, it wouldn't even be categorized as easy. It's just so free. You talking about, like, Leviathan, though? The Leviathan box set? Phobos. If you didn't know, Grail Knights released a new single. Did they really? That band's pretty legit. They updated their... Oh, they're doing a new album, clearly. Whenever you see a band update their logo on their Spotify, new album. What the fuck is that? What did they do for that single art? This doesn't sound very well produced. Who produced this? Who mixed? I could be wrong, maybe it picks up. Reconstructed into a combat patrol, and now the same start collecting is back. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I mean, when it comes to the Space Marines, they're going to give you everything, dude. It's a no-brainer. That's the best thing that could happen. GW knows what they're doing. I might be mistaken, but this sounds a lot like their early stuff. Maybe they're kind of like trying to return to their roots of what they did. Because this doesn't sound like something that would be made by them off the last album. At all. It sounds alright. Like, it's not bad. It just sounds like an older song. Arcadio, buddy. Jesus, my arms are getting fucked up here. Psycho Stick. No, I've never heard of them. There's a lot of bands I've never heard of that people seem to be listening to. All it takes is like one YouTube search and you can kind of like get into a lot of shit. Or like a Spotify audio play. Yeah, that definitely sounds more of not their last album. Sounds alright. Zombilio, buddy. They're comedy metal like Austrian Death Machine and Guar. Comedy metal. Interesting. I'd love to hear new Austrian Death Machine. The wife-killing arc is over, now it's the time of Arnold. I think they are making a new album, though. I'm painting Adeptus Sororitas. Nice, brother. Post it in the Discord, man. Favorite and least favorite army in 40k? 40k... 40k is probably some elf. Probably the Dark Elves. Or, sorry, Dark Elves. Dark Eldar. I'd have to look on the website, though. Hang on. Let's take a look at, take a look at the GW website real quick. So, least favorite, most vile, wretched 40k race in existence? Okay. It's between Tzeentch... No, sorry, not Tzeentch. It's between Slaanesh... It's between Slaanesh and, like, Drakari. Or Dark Eldar. 100%. Those two are just cringe. But, opinion, subjective opinion. Tau, I don't really mind the Tau. Like, okay, they're annoying, whatever, you know. Giant mechs aren't really my thing, but, like, they're not as wretched as, like, Dark Eldar. And, Slaanesh is just pure degeneracy. But for what it is, it works. I just don't like it. I think for lore and everything, it's amazing and it's perfect for what it's supposed to be, but... Bozo army. For Aegis Sigmar, it's probably more elves. It's probably the same thing, Slaanesh and, like, elves of some kind. Probably. Drakari all the way, as in, like, you don't like them, or they're your favorite? I mean, some people love... Hey, love whatever, man. It's just an opinion. It has nothing to do with anyone as a person. Enjoy the faction, now enjoy it more. The gross part, a lot of it's the gross part, but yeah, okay, it's fair. I mean, people have their reasons, that's totally valid. Can't find the Discord. Should be below the stream, no? Yeah, there should be one below the stream. Yeah, it's all good, man. Sometimes the answers are right in front of you, but you're looking too hard. That's okay. Kill Team? No, I haven't played Kill Team yet. I've got Kill Team ideas, but I haven't done them. Still working on the old ones? Yeah, a lot of the old stuff. I'm trying to go through all the named characters. I have, like, issues with committing to finishing something with Warhammer. So I like bouncing around. Yep, I think it's good. My local game store shat out a big 20 or 50% sale, and it's a bunch of the combat patrols. That's pretty cool. More money to spend. Thank God I don't look at that and I'm like, damn, I need it. Because I don't want any of that stuff. We're okay for now. GW doesn't have a hold on my wallet just yet. The old world has not come back. Not yet. Yep. Yeah, that's usually how that works. I mean, if you love something and they bring out more for your army, you're buying it, man. You're not thinking. You got the money, you're doing it. That's usually how that works. Tyrannid's got a bunch of shit lately. Space Marines, dude, how do Space Marine players even afford living? All their money goes to, like, lieutenants. Saving money for Skaven range refresh. Bro, you're gonna be long dead before that money's spent, I'll tell you right now. Skaven were so forgotten about that Fantasy died, the universe was gone, Age of Sigmar happened, and Fantasy came back, and they still have the same miniatures. You're good, man. You've got some good money in that bank, making some good interest. But, you know, it would make sense to refresh that range. It's super old. They didn't do anything for them. They're getting a new not a new unit, it's more of like a warband, I believe. Like they literally updated the Plague Monks in a warband. What? They did, you know what, they did that as well? They did that with the fucking Gutter Runners. They literally made a warband of Gutter Runners. What's that about? They did it twice in a row to Skaven. How does that feel? Interesting. Well, the base sizes for them... I mean, everything's getting increased base sizes. Yeah. You want to see how old the Skaven are? Okay. Age of Sigmar. Literally all Warhammer fantasy. Age of Sigmar, actually. Oh my god, ancient fantasy. Ancient. Why is this $26? I don't know. Fantasy. These are ancient, dude. These are old. Warpluck engineers. Ooh. Oh, it wasn't the Gutter Runners. It was the Night Runners. So the Gutter Runner unit actually, in my mind, makes sense. Because you get 3 Gutter Runners for, like, what? An egregious $26. Holy shit, what a good deal. They look fresh out of the production line. Like, okay, revamping those, great. They never revamped the Night Runners. I got them mixed up. This little dog shit old unit. What is this? Look at this shit. Oh my god. Fantasies, like, this is 1996, I think these came out. This is like a 90s kit, and they're still selling it. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Just in time for fantasy. Just in time. Rat Ogres. Plague Sensor Bearers. Like, these need a refresh. Oh, that's it. Yeah, they're old. What do you think about the Inquisitors? I mean, they're alright. Not really my thing. Yeah, the new Votan release. I'm excited for the new Votan stuff, but I'll probably never get it all done. Because the, I pre-ordered this. This is the last thing I got. This thing is fucking awesome. I love the add-on sprue. This is just a box of Hearthkin Warriors. The only difference is you get this one sprue. And this one sprue allows you to kind of customize them all. Like, I'm very surprised they're not showing the Knuckle Duster dude, because there is a guy who is ready to box your face in with his fists. Oh, he's right there. He's in the very corner. You can kind of see him right here. That's awesome. You got the grenadier dude. Got the dude lugging everything. Like, this is so good. Well, there will be Wave 2 of Votann, yeah. You're probably going to get, like, a flyer. Maybe some more characters. I'm thinking some sort of melee unit. I don't really know exactly what they're missing, but a flyer would make sense. Because if these guys are so technologically advanced, it's like... everyone needs a flyer. Yeah, transport, yeah. The little dinky transports are kind of weird looking. No, not in a negative way. So not weird looking, but more of... the rules are weird. What the hell were they called? The Sagittars. I can see two of them next to me. The Sagittars were a little odd, because they have a rule where you can split up your units to put them in Sagittars. So the Hearthkin Warriors, they come out as a unit of 10. That's like the base. The base is 10. But the Sagittars can only fit 5 people. Isn't that just a weird mechanic? Don't you think minimum 10 people per Sagittar? I know people take them in 5s and it makes sense to them. I haven't played a game of Votann, but the idea of splitting up a base squad unit seems a little odd. The only thing that can carry full units is the Land Fortress. So, interesting. Yeah, it's kind of a strange rule. Yeah, I've got squats. The Grimnir does look really good. The Grimnir is like the most dwarfiest Votann model, period. It just looks really damn good. It's a dwarf mage, which is heresy, but that's a good looking model. I like that they actually included a female dwarf, or a female Votann. Because in this universe, they're so abundant, they're all clones, that, like, the women can actually go to war and contribute and do things. And it's pretty cool to see, man. Like, they've all got this shit. In Warhammer Fantasy, they have, like, the Valea, you know, the goddess of hearth and home, but then they have the people who follow her, and they got, like... they have a lot of cool shit for the women in fantasy, but, like, in this, it's more forefront, which is really cool. Because for once, the dwarves aren't a dead and dying race. For once, they're actually thriving. But then again, they're clones. They're not like, you know, whatever it may be. Hair's going to be taller than you. Hopefully. I can stand on it. You can take Berserkers in 5-mans, and you don't want... also don't want to take 5-man troops and transports. I don't know, bro. It's weird. It's just a weird rule. It's very, very odd. Gear frick, yo, buddy. Nah, I'm not really into Gundam. Yeah, I know a lot of people do Gundam, but I never grew up with it. I was just never really a fan. I wasn't exposed to it. It wasn't really my thing. Gundams are massive. People love that shit. You know, there's nothing you can really kit bash with Tyranids. They're just what they are. They're aliens. They're all naked creatures. You can maybe create, like, weird-looking aliens, like, differentiate them a little bit more with different arms and shit like that, but, yeah, they don't really offer anything in the way of converting. They don't wear gear, their weapons are part of them. Everything has to be kind of, like, fleshy. I love converting. I can't wait to make fucking... Dude, the new Cities of Sigmar stuff coming out? Ay-yi-yi. So many conversions I'm gonna do. I got fucking Rangers. I got, like, big shield wall gunners coming out. I got a Golem. I'm gonna have a big robotic fucking Golem manned by the engineer, handing out ammunition. His back's gonna be full of, like, pouches and shit. My brain is full of ideas for conversions, but if I was a Tyranid player, I'd be as stale as stone. Painting, yeah, well, Xenomorph, yeah, you could do the Xenomorph stuff. If I was to do Tyranids, that's what I would do, but it's still kind of hard to convert Tyranids over any other race. They just don't have anything, like, nothing fits them. Nothing works with them outside of aliens. Like, Xenomorphs are 1-in-1 Tyranids, right? But you put, like, Space Marine shoulder pads on them? I don't know about that. Keep bashing Parasite Mortex, for which I had to destroy, like, all my leftover bits 8 times the size. That's pretty cool. I've actually seen, you know what? Come to think of it, I've seen people do... Again, like I said, they do larger Tyranid conversions. They just create a new creature, which sounds really cool, but... I got an ad for female deodorant on your Twitch. What is this? What makes it female? I mean, if it's deodorant for women, that makes it female for women. Like, you got ones for men that make you smell like fucking fish, or you got ones for women that are like, smell like a flower. I don't know, man. The funniest ad I've ever seen on Twitch was for condoms. They're having a laugh with that audience. Ain't no way. Can't believe they literally advertised Trojans on Twitch. Are you a fish? I am a fish. Yeah. Well, dinosaurs, creatures, monsters, stuff like that. It works for, It works for Tyranids. I'm just saying, like, you can maybe go the biomechanical route. That could work, but it's a little harder to do. Well, Warhammer, they have, there's like feral elves or something. I forgot in 40k, but they basically ride dinosaurs. Or you could say lizardmen. Lizardmen are basically dinosaurs, right? We are working on dwarves. We got a lot of the collector's edition older fantasy dwarves. So here's Grombrindle in space. We got Grombrindle being Grombrindle. Just a bunch of Grombrindles in Bugman's. Bunch of old metal fantasy miniatures that are all one-offs. Yep. I've got a lot of the fantasy stuff, man. I'm excited for the old world, but... was working on the other ones earlier. Pirate Grombrindle. They made a bunch of weird ones. They have Director Grombrindle. He's supposed to be like fucking Peter Jackson. What's your favorite faction? I'm gonna say elves. I love elves. Especially the wood elves. They're just cool. The weirdest conversion I've seen is they made this guy inside the chest cavity of a Tyranid, and it made mechanical... Oh, like he's wearing it as like a mech? That's interesting. Old metal tin minis, they're quite old. Oh, dude, the old metal sculpts are fucking amazing. They have the most character of any miniatures, and they have so much charm. Like the, It's just, this is a random one lying on the desk, but like... The Slayers, in particular the Slayers, I'm very fond of. Maybe not the before version. Like, I don't know what era they're from, but it's proper old Hammer before this. This was a Marauder miniature, but like this sculpt of the Slayer, for me, I think I got more of them. Whatever era this was, like the character these things have is just insane. Everyone feels so alive. They're grinning, they're pissed off, like, axes are flailing in the air. Everything just looks good, man. It looks way better than the new stuff GW is doing with, like, the Fire Slayers. I've got a few painted things. I don't really paint like I used to. The only two I have on my desk are these. This was a test paint, this was a test paint. I never got around to doing the army, but... It's a Lord of the Rings Dwarf Warrior... And then this was like, just a Dwarf Warrior. So. That's what I got on me. These I want to do eventually, though. I don't really know if I have, the time right now, because I'm typically never on this channel. Just because I'm not at this, location too often. But I'd love to finish Warhammer. What I want to do is kind of paint up one of everything. I want to just paint Thorgrim, paint Ungrim, paint fucking Belagar, paint, like, the Grombrindles, paint Bugman. Just for the sake of having them. Because in the past, I did have some of them done. Like, when I was a lot younger, I had a Dwarf army, Orc and Goblin army, Empire army, Orcs, Guardsmen, Goblins, Khazad Doom. I had a bunch of shit. But it's all gone. I sold everything. Everything that was done and painted is gone. And at that time, I was typically painting for gaming, because every week me and my buddy would go to GW, or I'd go to his house and we'd play in the basement, big games on the carpet, whatever it may be. And I don't think I want to paint for gaming anymore. I think slowly building up an army that I've painted over a few years for gaming, maybe, but like I don't want to specifically paint with the intent of gaming. It's just not fun. Takes too long, but it's also... It takes too long in a rushed sense, in my mind. I didn't start on the Moria diorama. I think I got a little bit through it, and then I'm like, fuck it. These other things caught my eye, and then it's like the old world's coming back, so now I'm doing that. I bounce all over the place. Yeah, that is true. Painting, you know, I kind of learned that recently. Painting one thing at a time is kind of up my alley, because you can get experimental and you can kind of just do whatever you want. You know, instead of batch painting a unit, you can turn one guy into something, one guy into another. But again, it's for the sake of gaming is typically why you would paint so many, right? You wouldn't batch paint a unit for the sake of having them 9 times out of 10. It would be to play the game. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just chill painting. But I do want to get an army done because I love the game, but I think rushing everything for the sake of playing is not what I want to do anymore. Oh, yeah, exactly. Song is Celestial Signals by Devin Townsend. The whole album is pretty much like this. And I'm just... with the old world coming back, I'm just happy to relive my childhood. And I get to purchase things that have long since been out of production. Like, super long out of production. Holy shit. They're bringing everything back, man. I'm excited. Nah, this is fantasy. This is like... It's a commemorative model, so it's not part of the game. So this was for fantasy, but it's literally a space dwarf. So... Yeah, they yeah, basically, right? They got to the point where they could go to space. Probably gonna take a break here soon. I'm getting fucking tired and I'm hungry. What time is it? 7 p.m.? Jesus. Oof. Jesus, no room in this fucking place. Oops. I need a pillow, which I don't think I... Oh, I do. They are good. And they still produce good fucking music, and these guys are old as hell. It's old people German music. Building a dwarf. Space dwarf. Yes, they're very popular. Your grandparents listen to them in Germany, but over here it's like your kids. Hey man, German parents, they know what's up. They have good taste in music. If you literally see any live, if you see any live performance by Santiano, they're always surrounded by just old people. It's like an audience of 90-year-olds clapping. Like, Johnny boy, Johnny boy. I'm like, damn. At 90, I better be like that too. Shit. That's legit. Listen to them on the radio. Hey, have fun, dude. Old music here is listened to by young people only for the memes. That's kind of what I've heard about this band in Germany, is young people listen to it for the memes, which is odd because the music is really nice. It's good. Yeah. I love them, dude. I love Santiano. I think they're fucking awesome. Weird how it's different in, you know, different places, but I think they're really, really talented. Really good. They were at Wacken? Were they really? People are catching on. No, their music is good. I mean, at the end of the day, whatever you like, whatever sounds good to you is the music you're going to listen to, so it is what it is. League of Legends Santiano streams. Well, I'll say this. Listening to Santiano makes doing anything a little bit more, enjoyable. This band has no hatred in their hearts. Random shit like pissing and burning on a... Well, I mean, alright. Whatever the kids like these days, I suppose, right? Whatever the kids like these days. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Look at now. Banger of a show. Yeah, I haven't seen a band in a long time. I should maybe go see one when they arrive. Any band, for that matter. I have no idea. Last time I heard of him, he was in the military. I mean, he came back and he was here a little bit. He was a nice guy. I gotta look up this Brombrindle creature. I must look him up. Brombrindle space. Brombrindle space. I subscribed for more. He was a nice guy, though, honestly. There's a bunch of nice people on Twitch, but a lot of fucking degenerates, which you guys aren't, so God bless your souls. There is a lot of degenerates. Debatable? Yeah, this is the chill stream. This is different. This is the chill homie session. Tradition, what do you mean? The perfect stream to put on in the background and chill. Yeah, there isn't really much going on here. I think that's what most people do when they even come by, is just chill. You know, one thing to motivate you to do Warhammer is to watch other people do it, so I can understand that if that's some reasoning behind being here. Watching other people do things can motivate you to do it as well, because it's like, if he's doing it, I can fucking do it. If he's scraping metal for 30 years, I can finish my army. Just takes a little bit of willpower, you know? I'm playing League while listening, really. I'm just laying in bed relaxing? Alright, never mind. Although I guess that is chilling. Warhammer? Okay, let me ask you this. Do you know Lord of the Rings? Metro Jope. Your good vibes put me on a 6-game win streak. 1 a.m. gang. Go to bed, brother. You're not missing much. So if you know Lord of the Rings, this is... What I'm working on is basically Lord of the Rings, but like... okay, never mind. Well, it's like Lord of the Rings, but amped up. It's crazier than Lord of the Rings. You'd have to do a Google search and whatnot, but Warhammer's a bunch of different things. Warhammer is Lord of the Rings. They've got Lord of the Rings miniatures. It's Warhammer 40k, which is like super fucked up Star Wars. It's Warhammer Fantasy and Age of Sigmar, which is like a more fucked up Lord of the Rings. I'd look it up. I haven't been by in a while, but you've been working on some... Oh, every time you're on stream, it's a dwarf I'm working on. That's all I really do. Looking pretty... I heard it was decent. I heard Ahsoka was pretty good. From the press people, or the people who got to watch it early. I hope it's good. I don't care about Ahsoka. Don't care about that creature. Don't care about the rebels. Don't care about any of them. But I hope it's better than Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, like Mando Season 3. And that's not too hard to beat. But I do hope it's better. Andor was amazing, yep. Of course, I'll sing its praises. One of my biggest blessings is I've never been and never will be a Star Wars fan. I don't know if that's a blessing or not, because, like, some people grew up with Star Wars. I grew up with Star Wars. But here's what you don't understand about Star Wars. Since you're not a fan, you don't understand where it's gone. As an outside viewer, as someone who just looks at Star Wars and knows nothing about it, you might think what they're producing now could be okay. But for people who know Star Wars and appreciate it and love, you know, the characters and lore and love the universe, what they're doing right now, Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Mandalorian Season 3, it's so shit. It is so garbage. And that's not to say that Star Wars isn't amazing. The games, original trilogy, the prequels, I mean, the expanded universe, the comics and all that stuff, people fell in love with that shit when they were younger. But holy fuck, the new stuff they're putting out is just a mess. They basically take badass characters and make them chumps. Or just, you know, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna give a character the coolest story ever. He was such a mysterious figure, you know, gun for hire, merciless killer, biggest badass of the galaxy, would do anything for money. Dude shows up, gets his ass kicked for the entire show, says a bunch of bullshit, helps a bunch of, like, people with their bullshit, and becomes a good guy. What the fuck? What? No, not Cat. Well, what they did to Cad Bane is even worse than Boba Fett. Actually, no, it's not even close. But yeah, they ruin stuff. It's like, okay, guys, we know Gangplank. Gangplank is the nicest guy ever. He got his shit kicked in by misfortune, got humbled to shit, and now Gangplank is an advocate for, like, saving cows. Like, he went vegan. Gangplank became a vegan. It's like, what? They make, like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. That's all I'm saying, man. Oh, wait, sorry. I didn't realize what he typed. He said they treat Star Wars fans like shit with what they put out. I read that all wrong, and I literally just started babbling. I'm sorry, bro. You're right, though. It's true. They don't care about the fans. They try to just bring in new ones, but say fuck the old ones. Not always, but it is wacko mode. But even then, you know, it's like, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, new Star Wars is new Star Wars. It's more stuff to consume, even if it sucks. Which is not a good thing, per se, but, like, it's the memories you have with the stuff that came prior. You know, for me, Games Workshop took away the one thing I loved, which was Warhammer Fantasy. They gutted the universe. They killed my characters. Like, they took away my childhood. They did. And, you know, they replaced it with something not as cool. But, like, now they're bringing it back. So, you know, Star Wars has a chance to if Games Workshop can do it. Games Workshop can go from straight up killing everything, 100% dead in the ground, gone forever. Your favorite characters you grew up with? No, your childhood's gone. To just kidding, it's back. What's stopping Disney? Treating the MTG community. I mean, it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's always about the money. And new ideas. Boba Fett is completely ruined. I firmly believe... I still like Boba Fett because I can still go back and, you know... I mean, to be fair, in the original trilogy's a nobody. But, like, expanded universe and all that stuff, clearly he's everyone's kind of a somebody in the expanded universe. Like, they gave them so much more lore. But, like, yeah, I still like Boba. I refuse anything Boba from, like, the Book of Boba Fett, but I like him still. They don't care about the meta, they only care about selling their products, and when they don't sell it, they ban it. The cards that ruin the metagame. Oh. Well, yeah, because that's the new Star Wars, right? It's like Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney, and now Disney does what they want with it. They're trying to push their Star Wars, right? This isn't George Lucas's Star Wars anymore. This is Disney's Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars. And to be fair, there was a few good things. Again, Andor, amazing. Mandalorian Season 1 and 2, phenomenal. Really good. But people just, you know, we all have our opinions. Some people love the sequels. Some people love Mando Season 3. Some people love Book of Boba Fett. That's all right. I don't share the same opinions, but I'll say this. The more content, the better. I know they're going to keep butchering it, but, like, would you rather have Star Wars not produce anything or produce some gems within a bunch of shitty, you know, rough ones? Same thing with Warhammer. It's like, do you want them to stop doing Warhammer or just keep pumping out stuff? Like, don't go back and taint what was already done. Don't go rewrite fucking, like, the original trilogy characters to suit whatever fucking, like, headcanon you've got today. Leave that shit alone and, you know, maybe write something cool. They did. They never... The legend... All the expanded universe legends, it's all not canon. It's done. They said, no, fuck it. Y'all just don't get it. It's hard to make ludicrous profits year over year. There's a lot of sacrifices companies have to make. Won't think of the poor excuse. Or the execs. Yeah. The executives and their, zero interest in what the fuck they're actually peddling. That's the thing with these companies, man. The people who are in charge of all this shit, they just don't care about what exactly they're in charge of, you know? How many people at Disney, the executive, any of those people, do you think they're all massive, super turbo Star Wars fans? For stuff like this, that's all made up and, you know, fully crafted from just the brain of someone. It's like, you kind of need to be in it to make it work. Or it's just not going to come out too good. Well, yeah, the expanded universe did have a lot going on, and I can understand maybe retconning some of it, or, like, all of it, because there was just too much. You know, like, as horrible as that sounds, I guess that makes sense. Because there was a lot of stuff written over many, many years. Well, Rey was their big, you know, welcome to the sequel trilogy, but Rey is just a repeat of Luke with, like, less explanations. Ray was horrible. Well, guess what? Ray's getting her own movie, so shut up. You can't say that. She's gonna slay. You know who apparently came back to Star Wars was John Boyega. He said, fuck that shit. They treat me horribly. Fuck Disney. Fuck the franchise. Fuck Star Wars. They fucking threw me under the bus. Fuck them all. How much? Okay, let's do it. So he's back. Hopefully they make his character worthwhile this time instead of just, you know, making probably the coolest character in the whole movie kind of a nobody. A sidekick who just yells Ray and then gets cucked. He's like, listen, I didn't mean any of it. I promise you, I'm back. I really like Rings of Power and hated House of Dragons. Speaking of Rings of Power, the one thing going for the Rings of Power was the soundtrack and the dwarves. The soundtrack for the Rings of Power, Bear McCreary, good fucking composer, man. That guy's like freaking nature. Good fucking soundtrack. The only good dwarves, fucking Durin, whatever. Disa, the fucking wife to Durin, whatever. I thought she did really good. I thought the acting was fucking phenomenal. You know, say what you want about making dwarves whatever ethnicity, but like she acted very well. That's like straight up a female dwarf, which you typically won't see on screen. And you know what they did? They casted actual dwarves to play dwarf roles, unlike Snow White, where they casted normal people to play dwarves because they thought being a dwarf was hurtful to people who were dwarves, so they then didn't make them dwarves. Weird. Very odd. No, her performance was very good. Very, very good. Well, she had like a mutton. She had like a little bit of a chin strap growing. It was there. There was a lot of stuff like that. It's like, yeah. You know. The hobbits, what were they called? The something... fuck, they were worthless. What were they? The Harfoots. Hey, the Harfoots, bruv. Yeah. Well, speaking of the Harfoots, yeah, their theme just came on. Which, the music is good as fuck in the show. I got nothing else to say. It's just good. They're kind of like cunts, though, eh? The Harfoots were like, if you fall behind, we're gonna leave you to die. It's like, what? So much for being peaceful creatures. They're left behind for like 3 seconds and then they're forgotten about. It's like, wow, you guys are assholes, bro. The fuck? The weird Mordor scene? What, when the volcano, like, when it actually erupted? Or, yo, peace, man. Oh, yeah, where they wrote Mordor. Yeah, that was kind of stupid. Again, yeah, they were saying, like, oh, you don't know what this is? That's Mordor. Yeah, I remember that, actually. It was really dumb. Honestly, though, the Rings of Power as a watch, I don't think was too bad. Not gonna lie. I think I had COVID when I watched it, so maybe it was, like, not as shitty as COVID, so I have different thoughts about it, but I like the music. I like the dwarves. They get my money. It is what it is. They got dwarves and good music. Fuck the rest of it. They did 2 things right, and those are my 2 favorite things. We're good. I'll forgive. Please, no more Harfoot music. Let them die. Galadriel horseback scene? Yeah, her face was like... She was really into it, dude. She was crazy looking. XDX face. Leave their music behind with them. True, true. Little bastard hobbits. Yeah, they kind of did make the hobbits pretty mean-spirited. Like, the dwarves seemed... Well, not the dwarves. The elves seem more, likable than hobbits, which is... Oof. Creatures. Yeah, they do. The orcs looked really, really good. The warg, on the other hand, was fucking hideous. No, you don't think the orcs look good? I thought the orcs looked fucking phenomenal in the Rings of Power. When they were in the trench, I don't know if... Did you see the trench scene? Holy shit. No, they looked good. That was, like, really well done prosthetics and makeup and everything. It was super good. The warg was weird. I mean, to me, they just look like orcs. I mean, to be fair, Lord of the Rings, like Peter Jackson's, the first, you know, whatever, the orcs were amazing. Can't top that. That shit was phenomenal. Oh, they were better, for sure, yeah. But I'm just saying, the orcs in the Rings of Power looked really good. Not as good as, like, Peter Jackson's, but... Yeah, they were pretty close. Don't even talk... Dude, The Hobbit was so shit. Like, the dwarves, nice. But the CG'd orcs, why did everything have to be so plastic? Like, you know, watching the movie, it's fine. I enjoy the Hobbit movies. But from, like, an actual practical standpoint, everything's a joke. Like, the dwarves were all done practically. At least the company. But the, oh man, those orcs, they did them dirty. Yep. Ian McKellen was crying. He's like, who am I to act with? I'm with a green screen. Where are the humans? Yeah, literally, he cried. It's like, dude, if you're an actor and you're sitting in front of a fucking green screen for your scenes, like, welcome to every Marvel movie ever, but, like, dear God. They sold their souls for money. He did not. Although he was in Marvel movies, so maybe he did. There's an update for Oh, yeah, I went back to play it. It worked. It was indeed working. I think Baldur's Gate for me, though, even if it does work, it's a bit too much of a commitment. And I don't want to commit to a game that big when I'm kind of investing my time into something else that's as big, which is RuneScape right now. So maybe when I'm, like, tired of RuneScape, I'll get back into Baldur's Gate, but for now, not really. No. Campaign took me 70 hours. Worth the money? Yeah, Return to Moria should be cool. That's one thing I'm looking forward to. For sure. Alright, after this song, I'm gonna head out. We've been here for about 3 hours, and it's felt like 5 minutes, but that's a good thing. I gotta go eat. Playing Baldur's Gate 3 just makes me want to play real D&D. It's kind of how I feel like when I play Total War Warhammer. And it's not that I hate the game, I love Total War Warhammer. But it's like... I think I'd rather be doing the real thing. Rolling dice over a clicking mouse? Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Thing is about real hobbies and real D&D and real Warhammer is it costs a lot of money. Or it costs money more than Baldur's Gate. And there's also a big time commitment that some people can't meet. So it makes sense for the game to be kind of their thing. I'm not signed into Discord on this PC, so I can't, unfortunately. I'll have to do it after. I have to re-sign in on this PC. Ooh. And they make signing into Discord and all these things pretty damn easy, though. I think all I have to do is scan, like, a QR code and I'm in. Which is pretty good. Okay, the song is over, which means I must leave. What are those? I assume you saw the Discord post, which I have no idea what it is. But I'm gonna go. Everyone be well. Peace, peace. Have a good night. I might be back tonight on this account. If not, I'll be on the League one. But since I'm limited with time here, I kind of want to do Warhammer. Just a thought. Oh, my glasses? It's fucking metal. I don't want metal flakes in my eyes. I'm good. Alright, folks. Peace, peace. Be well. Stay safe, and I'll see you all tonight, or I'll see you later. Have a good night, everyone. Peace, peace.